Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Dixie, come here. You want you control. Oh, hold her if you can. All right. What is going on right now? Good stuff, right? Is there some confusion in the marketplace?
Yep.
Lots of it. What's our job? To educate, empower, educate, and encourage, right? Is the fear in the marketplace realistic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real, right? Is it true? Not necessarily, right? I have a lot of people talking to me about hurricanes. We were just talking this morning, and they're scared because we're coming to hurricane season again. Manatee season's over the end of this month, and we can go fast to the canals. And then hurricane season is going to come again, and people are afraid. But let's talk about reality for a minute. How many people have been here for 10, 20 years? Have you ever seen a hurricane season like that? Never. I've been in my house for 24 years. The water's never come over my seawall. This time it came 4 feet over my seawall. Is that a normal event? I hope not. They have something called a 100-year storm, and they're calling this a 100-year storm. But are people not buying waterfront anymore? Yeah, they are. We're selling waterfront like crazy. I'm going to show you sales in a minute. So if you don't mind, let's jump into the yeah. Let's talk to Miss Megan first, because I know you got busy things to do today.
Good morning.
Morning.
Just a reminder for everybody, we have our Thursday class at 9 a.m. this week. Our vendor, our mortgage broker, Jeremy, he had his uncle passed away. So his funeral got scheduled for Thursday morning. So he is not going to be our vendor anymore for Thursday. Obviously, he has to deal with his family first. So I will send out a flyer today or tomorrow with the updated training for Thursday. And if you guys have any questions, just let us know, but it'll come out in that calendar invite. So if you're able to make it, please do. And we'll see you Thursday morning via Zoom.
Okay. Hey, congratulations on a great February.
It was, Misty said it was a very good high-end February.
Yeah, Aaron sent me, wow.
Yeah. And we get a trending report every morning. Our average order count that we're opening per day right now is between 4 and 6. So our order count for March is supposed to be between 60 and 84.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so we are definitely hitting the ground running. But if you guys need anything, reach out to us. Myself, India, and Victoria are here for you.
And understand they have the resources to keep up with that volume too, right? We can pull from other resources to make sure we have what we need, right? There are a lot of title companies can't keep up with that kind of business. So good job. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. You guys are doing great. I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Okay. All righty. All right. I like these quotes. This one is, you don't see others. Interesting. You see your opinion, conditioning, expectations, and generalizations. You see your model of the world. Well, think about that for a second. So you meet a customer, you judge them based on your experience, but that doesn't mean that that's how they are, right? It's your generalizations, your suppositions, whatever it is that you're thinking about. And just be aware of that, because everybody's unique and everybody's different, and we can work with everybody, right? Pretty cool. I have to talk about mindset, motivation, skills, action, accountability. It's just one of the things. It's what controls everything in our business, right? So I was just talking to Nancy. She is very concerned about waterfront property sales, right? So her mindset, I'm talking about you, Nancy, her mindset is of, oh my gosh, waterfront sales are going to die. And that's not necessarily true. Are we selling waterfront properties? Yeah. They're going for a little cheaper, but we're still selling, right? So mindset's number one. So what is your mindset? Is it good, bad, or indifferent? I'm going to show you some things in a minute that are going to show you, wow, what the hell happened? Because something really good happened. Motivation is why we do what we do, right? Why are we working? Because that dog eats 8 cups of food a day, right? Skills. Yeah. Skills are the activities, right? And we're doing a lot of skill work. Jimmy and Mike have been doing a really good job talking about skills, using Moxie, using Soci, using social media, those are skills that we have to practice and get good at, right? And if you don't spend time to get good at those skills, you're not going to have the skills, and you need them. And then you have to take action once you have the skill set to do something. And then accountability is saying, did I do what I say I'm going to do? And you can hold yourself accountable, or you can let somebody else hold you accountable. And generally speaking, it's somebody else holding you accountable that's more appropriate. Okay. I just want to repeat what I talked about last week. There's 2 things going on right now. They're calling them cheap brands and value brands, right? What are we? We're a value brand, right? What's a cheap brand? EXP, LPT, all those, they're cheap brands. They are, you don't pay them very much, but you don't get very much either, right? Do we get a lot from Century 21? Yeah. Do we pay a little more for that? Yes. Do we make more because of that? Yes. So 71% of the realtors in the National Association of Realtors did not have one closing last year. That's super scary. 38% of Century 21 agents did not have one closing, which still sucks, but we suck less. There you go. Okay. Next slide, if you don't mind. All right. Open mic Mondays. I missed it yesterday. I don't know what happened there. Jimmy, did you watch? Anything good? Okay. I had other things to do that morning. I really like watching Elon Musk, and I'm a little concerned about some of the things they're doing because they're making some major impacts, right? But his one question is, if you had to report on 5 things you accomplished last week, what would you say? Jackie can tell me. Ashley can tell me. Dixie, what are the 5 things you accomplished last week? I chewed on my leash, right? Right. So think about it. Yeah. And I pooped, and I pooped, I pooped. I pooped 5 times a day. Ask yourself that question. What 5 things did you accomplish last week? Did you get a listing? Did you get a sale? Did you have a closing? 2 listings and a sale, that's 3. 5 things you accomplished. Did you prospect, right? What else could we do activity-wise? Branding, promotions. You did a nice teacher event yesterday, right? There's all these things. You take a moment and reflect and say, oh my gosh, I did do something last week. Just some reminders. American Home Shield is our new home warranty company. You have to set yourself up with them. And I know a lot of you wrote notes last week and said, okay, I'll do that. But did you do it? No. That's why I'm reminding you again. Oh, you're such a dog. Okay, so do that. Please, Chris and I talked about this on Monday, double check your offers of compensation. We can't have 2. We can't have the seller's broker paying the buyer's broker and have the seller paying the buyer broker. It could expose us to double dipping, right? So if you're getting an offer of compensation from the seller, then you don't need to put it into the agreement unless it's not what you agreed to, because your buyer is obligated to pay you. If the seller is saying, I'll pay you, then you're good, right? Now, what if the seller's offer of compensation is not high enough? Then we use,
Depending on how they've offered it, the focus here is only use one. Don't use GG, FF, and write something in the contract.
please.
Only use one. It's either written in the contract, which we shouldn't be doing that anymore because we have 2 addenda that allow us to add it to the contract. So technically, we should only be using one of 2 things, GG or FF. Don't use both. And if you use either one of those, make sure there's nothing else written in the contract or nothing else outside of that. So if your offer of compensation from the seller or seller's broker isn't high enough and they gave you a compensation agreement, use GG. GG will attach the compensation agreement to the contract, and now you can negotiate the compensation agreement by striking through, putting in what you are wanting from them, and submitting that with your offer. And now it is completely open for negotiations. The seller's not offering anything at all. They haven't given anything, no form, but they verbally say something. Use FF. But never use both of them, or also never use one of those and also have it written in the contract, because now you've got two separate terms in the contract. And we're seeing that there's been a couple times where we've obligated somebody as a buyer's agent, or we've been obligated to as the listing agent for the seller to pay 2 commissions.
Yep.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to ask the other agent. We're still running into this. We send an offer in, the agent goes, no, my back office said we're not supposed to use that form. We're not supposed to use the form that's been provided to us by the Florida Realtors and the Florida Bar. You don't want us to use the legal form. You want us to write it into additional terms by the things that we magically made up. So sometimes you have to find a way to be strong enough to bend, because you don't want to create an argument and start a fight when you're trying to negotiate for your buyer. So sometimes we work through those things. If you have questions, reach out to us and ask. Happy to help.
And think about this. This started back in August of last year. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, we're down to March. And we still don't understand it very well. And imagine that 71% agents who didn't have a closing last year.
And
Right?
and then Sam also mentioned, because she does compliance, if you check the box for GG, compensation agreement, or FF, credit related to buyer broker, the form needs to be provided. So a lot of us are checking GG, but we're not actually providing the compensation agreement. And we're not also providing addendum GG, which is what says the compensation agreement shall now be attached to the contract. So just make sure we're crossing T's, dotting I's, and if you have questions, we'll walk you through it.
All right. I'd prefer seller pays buyer broker.
No, you use in that. So the question was, I've been seeing a lot of seller broker to buyer broker compensation agreements. GG does not care which compensation agreement it is. GG says, hey, look at me. There's a compensation agreement that is now part of this contract. It doesn't matter who's paying or which one. GG says which one we need to look for, the seller broker to buyer broker or seller to buyer's broker. Okay, so GG is the form that says we now have a compensation agreement that is part of this legally binding contract. That's just an addendum. The compensation agreement, if you
If they
agree,
give you a compensation agreement, that's okay.
yeah, if they give you a compensation agreement and you are in agreement with the compensation, sign it. It's a legally binding agreement and move on to the contract, because now you have a contract that says you're getting paid. Sign it, accept it. The only time you need to add it is if it's negotiable. Now we're saying you didn't offer me enough. I want it negotiable. I'm going to check GG, bring that into the contract and start negotiating with it, so your seller sees that this is now negotiable for us.
There you go. All right. Last point, or not last point, I have 3 more points to go. There's becoming a flight to safety in the real estate business. Why? Because it's changed, right? Agents want to work for a company that's strong, right? Not some fly by night, just an indented thing. And there's a flight to support in our industry, because a lot of agents have just gone off on their own thing and they are tending to themselves. Do you guys have a lot of support at this company? Lots of it, right? Cool. Okay, Blue Stars fraud. We had a situation, I'm not going to name names. I just want to be very clear. It's illegal for you to accept compensation from anybody but your broker in a real estate transaction. Right? You clear on that? It's also illegal for a broker to pay someone who's not their agent. We had a situation where somebody did that and they got compensation from another broker and they deceived the buyer. That person is no longer with us, and that was fraud. So I just want you to remember, there are rules, right? You can't induce somebody to do something and say, pay me on the side, right? Someone to say that. Zillow Showcase, that's 2 attachments. Okay, scroll down. Guys, this is really cool. We have 33% of our listings are showcased now. That's huge. What a marketing tool that is. And it really works, right? And the biggest users are here on the sheet. I'm not going to go through all that stuff. We'll go down to the next one. There's spotlight videos of agents doing great jobs. Next one. I don't want to play all these videos, but just going down. Just remember, you've got a super, super, really cool program. And right now we have a discount going with LMS. So if you're not using Shannon or Jessica, is the other one? They're still showcase photographers. LMS is there. We have a 20% discount going for you guys right now. We don't care who you use. It doesn't really matter, but no, you have it. But if you're outside the Tampa Bay area, LMS is probably the easiest. It's
The discount is only through LMS services. They don't work for LMS services. So you're going to get a much better price by booking directly through your photographer who is Zillow Showcase approved than going through LMS.
right. But if you're not in the Tampa area where Shannon or Jessica's doing work, they're a great option. And it's really like push the button and they do it. So that's super cool. So the Essentials program is $219 for under 1,500 square feet, $269. And if you want premium packaging, it costs more. But just really good news, 33% of our listings are showcased. We have 60 more tokens we have to sell to meet my contract obligations. So thank you. Did you? There you go. Okay, let's go to my next slide. Well, hit the Zillow Showcase real quick right there. So if you scroll down just real quick, look in the screen. So all the whites that say inactive, those are listings that sold that had showcase tokens on them. There's 169 of them. It's huge, right? And yeah, 100% top agents are using it because it works on a listing presentation. So that's cool. All right, jump into my, this one. Look at that screen. So January through February of 2024, we did $2.2 million in commission. January, February 2025, we did $3.3 million. That is a 48.9% increase. That's unheard of, right? So we're talking about mindset and is the market bad or good? When we're up, and that's closed business, 49%, that's huge, right? Oh, amazing. Next slide. Closed business, we did 114 on the list side and 121. We did 125 and 141. So that's a 12.8% increase in closed business, right? Why would our GCI be higher? Price points are going up. We get to benefit from that. That's closed business. Open business, we are up. We're actually down. So January, February, 193, 187 is a -3% down. But I want to correct that because February was a short month. It ended on a Friday. We had to get closings in, and we have 2 business days to close out our reports. So if we didn't get the closing checks from Friday's closings by Tuesday, they didn't get posted until March. So there's probably a little fluctuation in there, but open business is actually down a little bit. And that's probably a result of what? Fear. Because what happened in the last couple of months? Hurricanes and an election and a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace. So I'm not too concerned about that going forward. Cool. Jimmy just sent a new newsletter for March. Oh, you will be? Oh, you sent it to me. I approved it. I approved it. It's beautiful. So when you get the e-newsletter, what should you do? E-bless it, right? Do you know how to do that? Is there a skill? Yeah. If you don't, where do you go? No, you don't go to Jimmy. You go to the nextlevelu.com and you watch the video on what to do. Okay. I think that's all I got. Birthdays real quick. Birthdays this week. Robin Bennett from Sun City Center. Happy birthday. That's yesterday. Eugenio from Miami yesterday. Today, Brenda Nicholson. Tomorrow, Heidi Maynard. Lenore Lee on the 12th. Fernando on the 14th. And Ray Monahan on the 16th. So happy birthday week to you guys. And this is something Sammy put together, which I forgot to show last week, but it shows the February agent anniversaries. And I just think it's really cool because most companies don't have a longevity period. But look how many people in the top row have been with us 5 years or longer, right? And then 2 to 4 years, the next 2 tiers down, and then our 1 year anniversaries for this group here. Super neat. So 20 years, right? I was telling Jackie this morning, I was listening to the radio in the car on the way here, and the movie Jaws came out 50 years ago. 50 years ago. I was 6. And it scared the hell out of me. So they're having a big celebration for our 50-year celebration of Jaws. Okay. We can break off to individual office meetings now. Happy Tuesday. Sure, puppy. Sure.